mystery writers. Welcome to Write a Killer Mystery, where we talk about making a good mystery great. I'm Zara Altair, and today I'm going to talk about getting organized to write faster. Organization can really help you get your writing to go smoothly. When you first get a story idea, it's so tempting, and especially this happens with new writers. It's tempting you to get your story idea and you start writing, and then all of a sudden you run into some problems. Um, you find that you don't know enough to keep your story going. It's really a common dilemma for beginning writers. So, what happens is, as you write, you have an idea for a brilliant scene later in the story, and you write it down somewhere on a notebook or something, and then um, by the time you get to the point in the story where you're going to use that scene, you're like, where did I write that down? Where did I write that down? And you end up thumbing through your notebook or looking through files on your computer trying to find those notes. So my suggestion for beginning writers is to create what I call baskets for all of your story information. Um, Before you begin actually writing your story, and even if those baskets are empty right now when you've got the story idea, you're going to fill them up. So create the baskets, and what's going to happen as you place information in those baskets, you find that it's easy to retrieve the information. That's the ultimate goal of storing information. So it's like creating your own personal reference library about the story that you're writing. Um, so I think there's three. Some authors have four, but let's talk about three, and you can break it down however you want. Three main baskets. And it doesn't matter if you use the old-fashioned system of three-ring binders where you keep adding pages to the binder, or if you use writing software like Scrivener that has some of these baskets already created for you, and you just have to write in your personal notes about those things. Um, but the idea is to get all your information in one place so it's easy to find when you're writing. And the reason for that is, as you get ready to write a new scene in your story, if you go and look at the backgrounds for the characters who are going to be in that scene, and you go and you look at the details of where the scene takes place, the setting, um, or you refresh your mind on how to use a certain weapon, whatever it might be. If you get all those details fresh in your mind when you actually start writing, you don't have to interrupt your writing flow in order to go and go, oh, how did that weapon work, or whatever it is that you're doing, or where they are in a house where that scene is set, or whatever it is. Um, you have all that information right there at your fingertips, as it were, in order to start writing. And that way you don't break the flow of your actual writing before when you're writing. It's so hard to get back into the writing flow if you have to stop and go look something up. So let's talk about the three main baskets, that's what I call them, um, for your novel. First is what many writers call the character Bible, and that's where you store all the information about every single character in your story. And for the main characters in your story, you're going to have a lot of of a background detail, not just the physical details, but their emotional makeup, their intellectual traits, their speech patterns, their favorite words or phrases, their backstory, relationship with other characters, uh, how they respond to conflict, how they respond to different kinds of conflict, and any other details that you want to have about each character. And that you have each character in there, including the walk-ins. You're not going to go into deep background with a walk-on character, but um, if a minor character appears on page 40 and then appears again on page 160, by the time you're writing page at 160, you may have forgotten some of those details. So you want to keep them so that character appears consistent in your story. So that is one of the major benefits of your character Bible, and all the characters in there. Um, I also like, and I advise that you do this too, in your story planning for the character. Write their context, their story context in that character background for each character. What is their role in the story? Are they an opponent? Are they a friend? Is it a sidekick? Um, what happens is that as you create characters, you find that you may come up with a second character who actually has the same role, and as you add a lot of characters to your story, you can confuse your readers. So if there's a way to combine two characters who have the same role in the story, go ahead and do it. That makes it a lot easier for your readers to understand your story. Just a little side point about creating your character background basket. Okay, the next basket is the actual story outline. It can be an outline, it can be a detailed plot. Some people have, the main story points and they write around those to get to the next story point. Um, some people plan scene by scene by scene. It's really how you work best, but somehow you have an overall idea of the story. And many writers actually write a synopsis of their story before they begin writing. So that is maybe 10 to 20 pages, where they actually write out what happens in the story from beginning to end. So they have a sense of how the whole story flows. And I know I say this a lot, but it's true. Things happen when you're writing. Characters do and say things that kind of change things. So that's why you need an overall picture of what's happening in the story. So when those character action surprises happen, you can keep your story on track. Okay, and then the third basket is the actual story world, and that is um, more than the setting. It's, cultural details. Um, I'm getting lost in my thoughts and my head's getting ahead of my voice. So wait, so you want to keep details in your story world basket about culture, about setting, about weather patterns, or what happens, what season of the year it is in your story, and keep that in mind. You may have maps of a town or a county or wherever your story occurs. You could have house plans or building plans for settings, so your character's going from this room to that room, or they have to go through a narrow corridor to get down to the basement or whatever it is. There's a sense of where the story is physically taking place. Um, A lot of writers keep images of scene settings. They may go out and take photos um, to jog their memory. When they're writing a scene, you may do weapon research. In other words, the Story World basket has anything that helps your reader understand your story world. Um, and then, depending on your world, you may have a law enforcement hierarchy or the chain of command for your protagonist, reporters, publication, um, company. It's just going to depend what's in your who and what is in your story, what goes in your story world basket. But there's just so many things that you can put in there because these are the details that bring your story to life. Um, also, some writers create a separate fourth basket when they have a specialized story like historical details. If if your story has a historical setting, it just depends on your story. But what I want to stress is create the baskets as soon as you get your story idea. Don't wait. Create them and keep adding to them as you build. Because what you're going to find is that when you have all these things accessible, like, you wake up and you've got that midnight note, and the next day you put that note in your basket, wherever it goes. It's a character idea, if it's a plot idea, if it is a setting idea, you get them as quickly as you can into that basket so they're all there, they're all easily accessible. You can find what you need right away because when you sit down to write, um, you can review the details that are going to be in the scene that you're writing, and then you can just go ahead and write. And you don't have to interrupt your writing flow, which is so important for your writing. You don't have to interrupt your writing flow to go look up a detail. It's very frustrating. It slows your writing process down. Um, so creating those baskets is just really important. Um, I think that's it. Just that systematic organization helps your writing sessions flow. So as soon as you get a story idea, create your system of organization. It's really going to help you write. So I want to thank you for being here, and please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and then hit that little notification bell so you'll be notified when the next session of Write a Killer Mystery is here. Keep writing, stay safe, and I will see you next time.